So, Mechial, why even learn music vocabulary? Why learn music theory?
Well, if we have realistic goals and dreams, it will broaden our horizons and allow us to play with more different types of musicians.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what we can basically say is all professions demand a mastery of vocabulary, probably none more so than those in the arts, and particularly music. Remember, we're planning our career for our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, not just for our 20s, so we want to make sure we have as much vocabulary, but not that you're like, I don't.
Still young. What are the skills we need most?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we have to maybe go back to being like a child learner takes risks, they're non-judgmental, they're willing to try everything, they will ask for advice and assistance from other people. And for musicians and artists, this is really important because there's always someone out there who knows what we want to learn. The next thing is to consider our career to be like a portfolio of activities. We have responsibilities and goals to family, we have responsibilities and goals to our budget. We have to match all these potentials with our efforts.
We also have to learn to regiment our time, make our energy match our goals.
Life force, Luke.
So what would prevent a musician from being successful?
Right, the first thing I think would be misguided goals, believing that someone else's dream is our reality. Not everyone is supposed to be rich, famous, and for that matter, how many people that are rich and famous lead happy or balanced lives?
Right.
So make sure you realistically examine your passions, abilities, and goals for life as often as you can. And how often do you reevaluate your goals and rethink about where you're going?
That is usually an everyday process.
Yeah. So at least a couple of times a year.
Yes.
So, all right. So the next thing then is that we don't put our focus on just outcomes. I mean, what happens when you send out your track or your music before it's ready?
Usually not. It's not good. I mean, I think you should take the time to make sure you've developed your craft to the point you don't have to think about it.
Right. So and finally, Mechial, what kinds of things are most likely to prevent a musician from realizing their capacities and abilities?
Sometimes people get into habits that seem to distract them.
Yeah, and sabotage their efforts.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is almost everyone has experienced some form of abandonment, abuse, and a challenge to the balance of emotional mind and soul. Addressing challenges ranging from depression to addictions, and especially to addictions to social media, to texting, video games, etc. And most particularly to doing things just for fun or escape rather than that actually enhance our creativity and our technique and our abilities are detrimental to our growth.
So finally, we have some good news for artists.
What is changing in our emerging knowledge economy, global knowledge economy, is that employers are looking for qualities and skills never before imagined. They're looking for things like creativity, they're looking for things like global awareness, they're looking for the ability for people to imagine problem-solving things that right now aren't even problems. Among these, creativity and passion, or process-based learning, the ability to go ahead and do things based on personal investment, encouraging global awareness, understanding that what used to be a community or what used to be even a style of music or art has now expanded to become a global market. Discipline, regimentation, and strong time management skills. These are particularly important as relates to problem solving things that relate to technology and the expansion of knowledge as is occurring at a rate never before dreamed of. So Mechial, what would you tell your students about the need to learn music vocabulary?
You have to spend as much time as possible developing your craft. You have to put yourself around other musicians that are trying to do the same thing. Practice, writing music, jam sessions, the best thing. Implement music into every facet of your life.
Right. We know for certain that dispassionate learning and mundane prescription filling, or not putting all of our efforts and energy into what we do, is not going to be helpful to building a good career. So in other words, if we do everything we can with full investment, try to go ahead and diversify what we do, that's the pathway to self-actualization and ultimately to self-fulfillment. So conclusion. What can we get from an individualized approach to learning music theory? Let's listen to what the students have to say.
All right.
Okay, I'm Rebecca White, and I really like this approach to learning in music theory because it's not just everyone has to learn it a specific way, because no one is the same. We're all different, so we all have to learn differently. So putting it in a way that you're learning based on who you are and what you want to be makes it easier, because you're not forcing yourself to learn something as a scientist or as a musician. You're forcing yourself to learn it as you. So you get to be you while you're learning
Yourself is better, I guess, in my opinion, because you do learn things that I think I will use much more, like regimenting myself, learning just to evaluate myself and my abilities and see if I'm actually where I think I am, or if I need to work a little bit harder to get to where I need to be.
It was presented in an A to Z manner, from understanding and applying musical notes to the process of composing music from sonograph and listening deeply to instrumentation, how it's applied, the beats, the rhythm. There is so much to
Hi, I'm Aaron Ward, and I'm starting my first semester at Berklee College of Music. I like the theory program here because it puts you on an individual track, rather than putting you on a track, same track as everyone else, and enables you to be successful within yourself than trying to straggle along with the rest of the group.